Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 4, episode 2, and today we've got another big game against our rivals Plymouth as we look to stamp our dominance on League 2. But first, we've started on Owen Jack's profile, and there's a reason for that. You can see from his form at the bottom, he's become the exact player that we predicted he would from the moment we saw him in a scout report. Our scouts have done an unbelievable job to find this kid, with 4-star ability, 5-star potential, and in his first 11 appearances and 10 starts for the club, he's got 8 goals and 2 assists. He's training hard, he's improving quickly, and he is quite a wonderful prospect. The only problem we have got with him, if we go to his contract, we'd agreed this deal before we had all those troubles in January last season where we lost 2 of our stars, Broja being one of them of course, and as a result he's still got a minimum fee release clause in his contract. We need to get rid of that before January because 375 grand is absolutely nothing for this kid. The fact we got him for 6,000 is absolutely hilarious, but we're not letting him go for anything less than $1 million. And as a result of that, we've got to try and give him a contract, but every time we do, it said he's not willing to discuss a new deal yet because he's only signed one recently. It's said that since the start of the season, so hopefully it will change in the near future, because for me, 6 or 7 weeks is quite the near future, but it hasn't changed as of yet. But before we play our game today against our rivals, we want to talk about our transfer window. Obviously in the last episode we had our first game of the season. It was on the last day of July against Crawley. It was a disappointing game, but we'd reviewed our summer business so far and had said we were quite happy. And we are still happy despite the fact we didn't sign another player. I'll show you what I mean. If we go to our transfers, we've got one player coming in January that I'm going to show you. John Richards from Chester, again in the National League North, doing a really good job there, but he's an 18-year-old and he'll still be 18 when he joins the club, which means he will end up being a homegrown at the club. He's got a decent personality, he works incredibly hard and has good fitness, and you can see he's just a really decent central midfielder all round, so I'm quite excited about that one. But the other reason I'm happy is because of the players we've been able to get out of the club. So if we go to our transfer history, the first was Josh Laurent. He's gone to Boston United in, I think, the National League. 130,000. Don't forget, we got this guy on a free in February towards the end of last season. He was our 4th choice central midfielder and became 5th choice once Shenton joined the club. But if we go and look at him, he's gone to Boston. He's going to be a standout there. You can see he's already got a goal and 3 assists. I think they were in the National League. They're in the National League North. I have no idea how they've got 130,000 to pay for him. He's going alongside Jack Payne in central midfield. Another one of our former players. They're top of the league. And they've got a few players worth a lot of money here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. We go and look at their transfers to see what's been happening. They've signed another player for 60,000 from Cambridge. They must have a lot of money coming into the club. I don't know if they've been taken over or something. If we go and look at the previous year, they've spent nearly $250,000 there as well. One question is how they're still in this league, and the second, I mean they're top of it at the moment, is how on earth have they got that much money? Oh, they must have had a takeover, they've gone professional, they're secure finances, and they got relegated last year despite spending all that money. So I have no doubt they'll be back at the first attempt, and hopefully their manager will keep them up after that. But very much a tycoon situation going on there at Boston United. But no matter what the circumstances were, we were delighted to get rid of Laurent for 130,000. 6 months after we signed him as a backup player on a free transfer. You couldn't ask for much more really. We also got a couple of others off the wage bill. Our 3rd and 4th choice right backs. Alex Pike, £750 a week to Forest Green. Unfortunately he's picked up an injury now and he will be released at the end of his contract this season. The other one was McNamara. We mentioned in the last episode he might have been our mistake of the summer. I'm not sure he's going to reach his potential. I'm not convinced he's going to develop as we thought he initially would. But I'm happy to be proven wrong, although I don't think I will be. He's gone to Hartlepool and they're paying all of his wage too. So between the 3 of them, we've brought in 130,000 in transfer fees and we've got about 2,000 a week off the wage budget. And then just before this episode, Janeel Bennett, our young right winger, he's gone off to Wrexham on a loan for the rest of the season. He's developed a little off the pitch and hopefully that will help him, and a season of games should see him develop a bit more. I don't think he's quite going to make it here, but we've got to give him the opportunity to play football. And the reason he's gone out, if we go back to our squad, is we had a bit of a situation with Nick Freeman. He's resolved his unhappiness now. He's playing for us again. He's happy with his situation at the club and he doesn't want to leave any longer. We've got him on a 3-year deal, so we're not too worried if clubs do come in for him, but they're going to have to pay an awful lot to get him out. You can see from the top of the screen we're first in League 2 now, and you can see our run of games since has been absolutely brilliant, until probably this month where things have got a little bit strange. So through the whole of August we never conceded more than one in a league game. We won 3-1 at Notts County directly after that Crawley defeat. Broja and Jack coming to the party, a brace for Armando Broja and a single goal for Jack as we went 3-0 up in the first half and were professional enough in the second. We then played promotion favourites Yeovil. They came down from League 1 last year and are probably one of our most local clubs in the division. Adam Phillips with a penalty early in the second half and we held on for a 1-0 win, with Matthew Platt being absolutely brilliant in the absence of Johnny Byrne, who got injured in that first game of the season as we saw last episode. We then went to our parent club Sunderland in the Carabao Cup. They beat us 2-1, but we rotated almost our whole side. Brad Walker even played centre-half in that one, and Mikhail Kennedy gave him a scare towards the end of the match. Unfortunately, Andrew Nelson is in a goal drought himself, so he's not been too much help this season, but the rest of the lads did really well, and we were unlucky not to nick a penalty shootout in the end. However, the league's more important, and we followed that game up with our first 11 getting a 4-1 victory at Blackpool. Owen Jack with a brace and Broja again, and Nick Freeman getting his first goal since his unhappiness in that one. It was then the turn of AFC Fylde to frustrate us. They came up from the National League last year and set up really defensively, but Owen Jack broke them down midway through the first half. They didn't change their game plan at all and had a man sent off in the 93rd minute, which prevented us running through one-on-one. So in truth it would have been a 2-0 game, but they did what they had to do. Unfortunately for them, they've kept their goal difference down. We then got back to our emphatic style away at Accrington. You can see away from home where teams were coming at us, we were just able to get goals galore on the counter. Broja and Jack both scored again, and Shenton and Phillips from central midfield with the other 2 goals, as we came out comfortable 4-1 winners, before we beat Northampton at home. A game that had added significance because they put us out in the playoffs last season. Matt Crooks with a goal after we went 2-0 up, and they did score a controversial offside goal, which was chalked off when it probably shouldn't have been. But either way, we did win. Broja got a goal again, and Aaron Davis from the corner. Our attention then turned to the Checkatrade Trophy for the first time this season. We played pretty much a reserve 11, with Johnny Byrne coming back from injury and Armando Broja playing before his international duties. Byrne scored the winner as we nicked a 1-0 win, and it stands us in good stead for the rest of the competition. We managed to draw 2 other League 2 teams and Chelsea under-23s. I'm not quite sure how that works. I thought there had to be a League 1 team in each group of the competition, but apparently not, so we were happy enough with that. September started with disappointment. Nelson had to come in despite his goal drought as Broja was away on international duty, and our left back McCabe was also in the same position. We didn't look like scoring, but to be fair we didn't look like conceding either. A really dull game and a 0-0 result. However, we did then beat Lincoln 3-2. We were really disappointing in this game. We went 2-0 up in the first half and were absolutely brilliant. Andrew Nelson missed a penalty off the bench after coming on for the injured Jack. And then Lincoln came back into it in the last 15, equalising at 2-2 with 4 minutes to go. But that man Armando Broja, in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, coolly slotting the ball into the bottom corner to nick us all 3 points. That was the day we went top of the league, and unfortunately we nearly blew it immediately at Cheltenham. 2-0 defeat in that one. Our first away league defeat of the season, and the only real question to be asked is how we only lost by 2. Definitely our worst performance until we played AFC Wimbledon 3 days later. We were atrocious in this game. Don't be fooled by the scoreline. Their manager won us the game. At half time we were 2-1 up. It was completely undeserved. I have no idea how we got to 2-0 in the first place. We had about 22% possession in the first half and were absolutely outplayed. They changed to a 4-3-3, that narrow exploit at the start of the second half. They got 2 goals either side of Owen Jacks to make it 3-3 and decided to stick with that formation. And we just picked them off. They went 2 attacking too soon and we managed to get 4 goals towards the end, with both Walkers, Clarkson and Broja getting the other goals. And although we won it by 4 goals and scored 7, it is by far the worst performance I've seen this season. And our last 2 performances have been terrible, which gives us something to be concerned about in addition to our awful defensive displays. But this game's a rivalry, and that means anything can happen. We're going to Plymouth, it's home park, our attendances have been going up this year, but we're still probably the smaller club of the 2. Plymouth have been in the Football League for a number of years, and they've been getting big gates and big finances, and they've got a much bigger wage bill. We've lost out on a few free transfer signings this summer, where they've gone to teams in the National League on £2,000 to £2,500 a week. There was one we lost out to Billericay, who were paying him nearly £3,000, and he only would have been a backup player, so I have no idea how we're we're supposed to compete, but we'll try to do so by sticking to our young prospect signings. And our scouts have been brilliant in finding them, which means that we've got every opportunity moving forward. So let's get into this game. We know we want to see the rivals clash. A blood and thunder game. We've got almost our full 11 fit. You can see Plymouth were just about favourites there, but with our first 11 we feel we can compete against anyone. In goal we've got Alex Bass, McCabe and Facey are the fullbacks with Byrne and Davis in the middle. Walker and Freeman are on the wings with Shenton and Phillips in central midfield. And we've got Broja and Jack up front as they look to continue their brilliant goal scoring form. 8 goals apiece in just 11 games, and hopefully that continues today. Before we start, let's just show you the League 2 table so you can see where things stand at the start of play today. Plymouth are looking to get into the playoffs, and if all things go their way, they could be as high as 4th or 5th at the end of this episode. Whereas we're at the top, we can't lose that position, but we want to keep a 5-point gap to 4th place if possible. I'm really aiming for a top 3 position this year. I said top 7 in the last episode, but the way our front 2 are playing, I honestly believe that sky's the limit, and this will be our best opportunity to get to League 1. The other thing to consider is the fact that there aren't really any massive clubs in the league this year. We've had it before where there have been some monstrous sides here. And although if you think about real life, you'd consider a side like Peterborough to be a top side, they haven't proven it in this game. And the sides up there at the moment are ones that were in the bottom half or mid-table last year. So we have to take advantage, and hopefully for football in the region, Yeovil will come up as well. But let's get into it and see if we can get a win. 2 teams going for it with a 4-4-2. But let's go and give the team talk and see if we can encourage the lads. Apparently we're telling them to pick up where they left off, which is nicking a win after an awful performance. Johnny Byrne's always motivated. There's a real buzz about this game. There's a big attendance, and as the 2 sides have become more competitive, hopefully we'll all be up there at the top. What a great thing it'd be for the South West if the 3 promoted teams were Yeovil, Plymouth and Torquay, but that's a long way off. McCabe with a long throw into the blocks. Broja flicks it on. Byrne's offside, but he hit the post anyway, and it's going to be a free kick for Plymouth. But good early signs in the first few minutes. We've got a corner and in-swinger with Phillips. 25 minutes with no highlights. It's been a really poor game, actually. Eamon McCabe's got an early booking. A bit of aggression he's got in his game. We mentioned that might become a problem. Tom Walker coming down the left again. I'm glad to see we haven't had a Plymouth highlight all match, despite the fact we're over half an hour in. But we've only had a couple of attacks ourselves, and it's just been a pointless shot from the edge of the box there from Shenton. Comfortably wide, and it's still 0-0. But Facey with a long throw. Headed away by the target man Taylor, but it's back out to Facey again. In towards Jack. Good header, but just over the bar, and it remains 0-0 with 10 minutes to half time. But what a drab game, and not much to speak about. It's Plymouth coming forward for the first time, just on the stroke of the whistle. Hopefully they don't get a goal just before the break. Sarcevic gets it out to Jacobs. Jacobs has got a man down the line in the overlapping fullback. It's back to Jacobs again. Oh, he's put it in after no shots in the whole half. It's their first shot on target of the match. Bass is beaten at his near post, and we go into the break 1-0 down, completely against the run of play. And it could be 2 at this rate. This is awful. Jacobs in, Taylor loses out in the air, but it's Brophy on the left, into Taylor again, and Byrne deflects it behind for a corner. But it just continues the theme, where defensively we've been so weak in the last few games, and I don't know where it's come from. Davis clears the corner away, and it's going to be 1-0 to Plymouth at half time. What a disappointment that is. Plymouth score their only shot on target, and we've got a lot of work to do. We're going to be assertive, not aggressive, because it hasn't been that bad, and we're going to ask for a much better showing in this half. Hopefully we'll provide it, because although we've been the better side, we haven't created that much ourselves. Davis clears it long towards Freeman. He brings it down for Phillips, over the top towards Broja. Why is the highlight ended there? Surely something could have come from that. McCabe's long throw's headed away to Davis. He finds McCabe again to Phillips. Phillips coming into the box. His shot's blocked. He probably should have looked for a pass there instead. Freeman goes back in again, but it's headed away easily. And we've got another long throw with McCabe. In towards the front post. The keeper claims it easily. And why we needed to see that, I don't know. Watson's going to go for the long kick as the highlight doesn't end. We continue with a long kick forward. Graham's beaten the centre half to it. He's gone straight through them there to Taylor. Goes for the shot, but it's a long way wide, and we can comfortably deal with that. We've got a free kick with Shenton just in the opposition half to Phillips. I'm not convinced it was a free kick actually, because it looked like the ball was moving. But Freeman crosses to Broja, hits the crossbar, and it's cleared away. Panic stations for Plymouth in the area, but unfortunately they're holding on at the minute. Phillips with a cross into the box from a free kick. It's headed by Davis, but it's straight at the keeper, Watson, and they can comfortably deal with those. Burns really struggling for fitness again. Since he's come back from injury, he's just struggled to put 2 matches together. McCabe's got the ball at the back, goes long over the top to Broja. Wotton heads away, but it's fallen to Tom Walker. He's bringing it forward now. We need an equaliser, but we're not going to find one from crosses like that. It falls back to McCabe and Phillips. Tom Walker about 30 yards out, goes inside to Phillips and Shenton. Shoots from the edge, Watson makes the save, and it falls for Jack on the right side of the area. He tries to cross it, but it deflects behind, and it's going to be a throw-in. The highlight ends, and with an hour gone, we're still 1-0 down. 25 minutes left, I've seen enough, we're going to make some changes. Shenton's anxious, so we're going to bring on Zane Westbrook. We're also going to take off Freeman, who's not had the best game. On comes Leighton Clarkson for him, who scored off the bench in the last one. The other player that's really struggling is Johnny Byrne, and also the left back. I don't know which one to go for. We could bring on Platt, knowing that Byrne's tired and anxious, but he is our leader and McCabe's on a booking. So I think I'm going to take McCabe off, but then Carl Roberts is a natural right back. So no, I'm going to take Platt. Platt's coming on for Byrne, and we'll see if that makes the difference. We want to be solid. If we concede another, it won't matter. Broja wins the flick onto Shenton. He gets it to Freeman on the right. I might need to cancel these changes if this leads to a goal, but it doesn't as Broja heads it over the bar. A good cross from Freeman, but it was his last contribution to the game. All 3 subs are on now. If we're still behind in 5 minutes, we'll go attacking. But Westbrook's got the ball in the middle again to Phillips. We've absolutely dominated, double the amount of shots, 4 times the amount on target, but Plymouth have had the only shot and goal of the game. Walker gets the ball to Westbrook out to McCabe. McCabe's going to try and deliver from the byline again. Finds Broja just over the bar. And how many more chances can we waste? It seems like every time we're on camera, the strikers get goal shy. They've scored goals galore in between. The Wimbledon game in particular, we scored every chance we had. But in this one and the Crawley game in the last episode, we just keep wasting them. Westbrook finds Phillips again. Phillips into Westbrook and we try over the top. Jack gets there. What a run. What a finish. And Owen Jack makes it 1-1. Well deserved after a patient build-up. And fortunately, we get the goal we deserve at last. 15 minutes to go, and can we now go and win it? McCabe with a throw-in, headed away at the front post again to Phillips. Back to McCabe on the left wing, crosses in towards Jack, but Wotton heads away. Phillips gets it wide to Clarkson, the sub-right winger, into Jack, shoots again, but it deflects behind off Guthrie, and it's going to be a corner kick. We're really piling on the pressure now. Phillips with a corner to the back post, Davis's header, but it's straight at Watson, the keeper, and it remains 1-1 with 10 minutes left. Sorry, I accidentally paused it there as Jacobs cross, and Bass gathers comfortably. It's a goal kick from Bass, long over the top, straight out of the hands towards Broja. Westbrook finds Phillips. Phillips has got it in the centre circle to Westbrook again. Over to Broja on the left wing. Really, we'd want him in the middle there, but he finds Phillips. Westbrook from the edge has a shot. Watson tips it wide. It's brilliant goalkeeping, and we're going to make some tactical changes. We'll be back in a moment for the corner. We've got the corner now with Phillips. We've just made some tactical tweaks to our corners and to our set pieces from throw-ins in particular. Davis has recovered the ball on the left to Westbrook. He tries to shoot from the edge when he had 2 passes on, but Davis's ball isn't bad in for a centre-half. Westbrook gets it back out to Phillips though. They play a 1-2 for the second time. If they could pass it to someone else and create something, that would be lovely. It's a terrible ball, but Clarkson tries to keep it in, and unfortunately it goes back to Plymouth as a result. But we're coming forward again with Tom Walker. Deflects away. McCabe's going to get there first. He's going backwards for some reason. He goes to Phillips in the middle of the pitch. Lovely switch of play to Clarkson. Taking on the fullback. He gets the cross into Broja. Heads it in a corner, does he? No. It's just wide of the post and it's out for a goal kick. We have absolutely dominated this game as Owen Jack has a free kick and it's just wide of the post. 24 shots, 10 on target, 52% possession. Plymouth have had a quarter of the amount of shots and a fifth of the amount of shots on target. We have absolutely pasted them, and the fact that this is 1-0 is a disgrace to football. But we've got a chance now with McCabe in stoppage time. Platt flicks it on. It's a penalty. Who's going to take it? Adam Phillips is listed as the man, and we're just going to let him have it. Hopefully he can put it in. He scored one already this season, and it would be the most deserved late winner in the history of derby games. Ryan Taylor gets his book in the centre forward. Phillips puts it in the corner, and we lead 2-1 with just a minute and a half of stoppage time left. We'll pause the game, we're going to go cautious, play for set pieces, waste time and slow the pace down when we get the ball. A wonderful late win. We really deserved it. We've absolutely dominated the game, but you never think it's coming until it's in the back of the net. A fantastic performance, and with 30 seconds past the stoppage time now. Blow the whistle, ref. Give us the win we deserve. He does just that, and we nick it 2-1. And it's good to see that our performances are back to the level we expect. That's why I think we're going to be in the top 3. Wonderful stuff. And we're going to tell the lads it was a brilliant comeback. They're all happy, we're all happy, and we've just got to hope that Tom Walker's injury isn't too bad. Hopefully it wasn't, as he stayed on the pitch. The gap to 4th place has moved up to 7 points now, after Cheltenham get their win, but Crawley drop points as do Yeovil. So happy days for us. Let's see what they've said about the game. We come from behind to win, but we must have got more praise than that. We absolutely dominated. I'm really annoyed about that article. We deserve more out of that. Walker's only out for a week, so he should only miss the 1 game. We'll do the press conference off camera in a moment. If we go and have a look at the schedule, for the next episode I've got a clear plan. We're going to come back for the Chelsea game in the Checker Trade Trophy. It's only in a couple of games' time. We'll be showing you some of the young players we've got waiting in the wings, as they'll get their chance in this competition, which isn't really a priority for us, but could be an opportunity to do really well and get to Wembley. In addition to that, we're also going to show you our mentoring groups and our individual training for our youngsters, a bit more depth off the pitch in what we're doing to develop these kids, and it seems fitting alongside that game where a lot of them are going to be getting their chance in the first team. After that one, we'll obviously leave quite a big gap as we try to get towards the Christmas period, and we're not planning that far ahead yet, but I've already seen the one after. New Year's Day we're away to Yeovil. That'll be an absolute cracker. But that will be all for this one. If you did enjoy it, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think to our start to the season and what you think of our front two. They seem to be demolishing the league, and if those two can stay here, we should continue to do well. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from my 2 FM19 stories, this one part of the furniture with Torquay United, as well as our other FM19 series, The Head Coach, where we work under a director of football with no say in transfers, contracts or staff. We're a journeyman in that save, so we can move from club to club. And it finally looks like things are starting to go well in that career. There'll also be weekly content from our FIFA 19 lower league career with Crew Alexandra. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time.